Hi, I'm Jamie, and this is Book Tease, a podcast that celebrates the power of well written smut. Happy St. Patrick's Day! We are continuing our Lust of the Irish theme for March. And of course, I built that whole theme around St. Patrick's Day. So, yay, we're here, we made it. This book, the one I'm covering today, is the one that made me choose the Lust of the Irish theme. Because this book personifies St. Patrick's Day. What does that mean? Oh, we'll get into it. So, as a reminder, this podcast does contain spoilers, so keep that in mind moving forward. If you haven't read this book or you want to read this book and you don't want to be spoiled, then just pause the video, read the book, come back. Go Luck Yourself is the name of the book, and it's by Sarah Rosh, and it is book 2 in the Royals and Romance series. I read book 1 around Christmas. It's called The Nightmare Before Christmas. And that was a 5-star read. Loved that book. That book features Cole Claus, whose name's Nicholas, but he goes by Cole. And he is the Prince of Christmas. And Hex is the Crown Prince of Halloween. In this world, every holiday is ruled by a king and a prince or a princess and a queen. And each holiday generates joy, and joy is the currency in this world. So, if you're a ruling family, your job is to make the holiday go off without a hitch, to generate as much joy as possible centered around your holiday so you can have currency. And then your magic runs off of the joy. The magic you use to fuel your holiday, to pay your employees, everything runs off of the joy that's generated. So that gives you some background. I'm not spoiling the first one, but it does center a lot around this joy and how Christmas kind of takes over the majority of the joy. It's the ruling holiday. So now we're moving into this book where I had to give you that backstory to tell you that this book is kind of Christmas is restructuring. Cole has taken over. They've pushed out his father, who is taking all the joy. So it sounds so silly. Their father was stealing all the joy. So they're restructuring, and Cole is taking over. And this book focuses on Chris. Chris is the other prince of Christmas. He is not the main prince. He is the supporting prince. He is the younger brother, and he has got all that younger brother energy. Let me tell you. By the end of this book, I wanted to strangle him around his cute little neck because being such a whiner, he's got little brother energy big time. So throughout the whole book, he's trying to determine his desires now that his father is no longer in charge of the family and no longer in charge of Christmas. And now he actually has the opportunity to do what he wants to do and not just what he's told to do. And so he's really having a identity crisis. And we'll get more into that. This book is a enemies to lovers situation. And it features, like I said, Chris Claus, the other Prince of Christmas, and Lachlan Patrick, the Prince of St. Patrick's Day. Everyone loves an Irish boy, right? So both are Cambridge students. When we start the book, both are Cambridge students, and they're both going for different things, but they kind of have a little war going on over the study room of all things, because Chris is very serious. He's a very serious person. He's not even really enjoying what he's studying. He's doing it because his father told him he had to. It's like politics or something like that. And he's booked the study room to study. And every single time he books it, Lachlan's in there. And he doesn't know who Lachlan is. He just knows that he is the incredibly handsome dude that keeps taking over and not letting him have the study room. So Chris is under a lot of pressure. He is having his little identity crisis. And so, uncharacteristically, he retaliates to Locke's, they call him Locke a lot throughout the book, to Locke in his sassy demeanor and refusal to respect that he has booked the room. And he tinsel bombs him, meaning he actually like explodes tinsel with his Christmas joy magic all over the study room, and then finds a way to like play it off because the whole rest of the world has humans in it or mortals in it, and they don't know about the magic. And he doesn't even know that Locke is a prince of St. Patrick's Day. He thinks he might be immortal, and so he's just like having his little hissy fit. And yeah, he finds a way to play it off. But this gets on the news, or it gets reported on the holiday news, not mortal news. And it kind of becomes a thing, right? They're like, oh, look, Chris is acting out. Chris is the perfect brother. He never acts out. Like, it's very uncharacteristic. He never wastes magic. So he's already beaten himself up about it. And he goes and he has there's a family meeting. It was already scheduled. And at this family meeting, he's ready to be taken to task for what he did. And his brother's like, nobody cares about that, dude. We have bigger problems. We have discovered that the joy is being stolen from Christmas. So, like I said, joy is the magical currency in this world. So someone is stealing their currency. Someone is stealing their livelihood. And it's in small doses. It's barely even noticeable, but it's still being stolen. So they still need to address it. Well, while they're checking out this little device that's stealing the magic and whatnot, they see a Clover, a lone Clover that got left behind. Well, that's what gets left behind when people from the St. Patrick's realm travels. Of course, Clover gets left behind, just like little tinsel gets left behind. If or mistletoe, like the Christmas magic is traveling by mistletoe. And anyway, it's all very cute. It's all very cute how they tie in the holidays and the different little symbols for holidays into this book. So I'm not going to go over all of them, but it is so adorable. I love the way it's set up. Good job, Sarah Rosh. But they found out that it's St. Patrick's Day, who has put the device on the meter and is stealing or draining the magic little bit by little bit. So they're doing research to find out. We don't know much about St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day's been kind of like, you know, going under the radar. We don't know much about it. They're doing research. And during the research, Chris goes, holy shit. The Prince of St. Patrick's Day is Lachlan. He's the guy that I got into the war with. And oh no. And he's getting a bunch of shit for the tinsel thing that I did. So he's like, okay, I know what to do. I need to formally apologize so that they look good in front of the council or whoever. He's like, I need to make amends. Not just for my holiday, but for their holiday. And he formally apologizes. And he's told, well, we'll accept your apology, but you have to, and it's apology for the tinsel, but you have to come celebrate St. Patrick's Day with us and see what our holiday is all about. And he's like, well, I guess I'm going undercover because I'm wanting to see how they're stealing our magic. Who's been stealing our magic? So he's like, okay, I'll go under this guise if I'm offering an apology, and I'll figure out what's going on with St. Patrick's Day and who's stealing our magic, and I'll find a way to get our magic back. So now he's going undercover. So that's the setup for the book. Well, during his stay and all kinds of shenanigans that happens during St. Patrick's Day, and like I said, I'm not going to totally spoil it. There's a lot of fun, silly things. You will laugh out loud. But he starts to fall for Lachlan. They start a little fling, and it's hot. It's really cute. and he starts really respecting him, and he realizes that Locke is not the one that's in charge of St. Patrick's Day. His uncle is in charge of St. Patrick's Day, and his uncle's an asshole, and he is using all the magic that St. Patrick's Day has, and he's funneling it into his businesses. So his businesses can become successful because the primary manifestation of magic in St. Patrick's Day is luck. That's their main manifestation of power is luck. So he's like, I'm using the power of St. Patrick's Day, which is the luck, and I'm funneling my businesses, and I'm getting my businesses going. And he gives zero fucks about St. Patrick's Day. And so Lachlan is doing everything he can, sans magic, to make St. Patrick's Day happen, to bring it back, to bring joy, to like reinstate his holiday and have pride in his holiday. So he's doing all this stuff without magic, which is mind-boggling to Chris because they've relied so heavily on it. Christmas has an abundance of magic. It's one of the huge holidays, if not the hugest holiday. So yeah, he's got a lot of respect for Lachlan, and he's seeing everything he's doing, and he understands, like, oh, I get why they've stolen magic. But he also is like thinking that he's also like his uncle's an asshole. He stole the magic. Like, he's ready to go for bat for him because they're starting to, get closer, and they've got this hot relationship going now, and they're starting to really understand each other. Chris starts kind of pushing Locke to take back his holiday. They start coming up with a way he can get control back, and he can, because he is the person who should be ruling St. Patrick's Day. He was the next in line, not his uncle. His uncle shamed him and browbeat him into taking it over, and now he's done nothing but abuse the power. So Locke is the rightful ruler of St. Patrick's Day. So Chris starts backing him up and starts giving him the confidence and starts pushing him to take it back. Meanwhile, Locke takes good care of Chris. Chris is so self-sacrificing to a fault, and he's always taking care of other people. And so he's not used to anyone taking care of him. Well, Locke takes care of him. He's always on him about, you're not drinking enough water. You're not eating enough. You're not sleeping enough. You need to write more. Like, he's all about taking care of Chris. And it just really, it hits Chris like in the feels. It's just a nice change of pace. Well, they get really closer. They both push each other to be better, to do better, to actually like admit what they want. Like, Chris finally admits that he doesn't even want to be doing what he's doing. He wants to be a writer. He's always loved being a writer. And now the only thing he writes is depositions. He writes press releases. He writes speeches. That's all he does. And he hates it. He's like, I'll do it, but this is not where my love is. I want to write a book. I've always wanted to write a book. And so Locke's like, well, just write a damn book. Do it. You're telling me I need to chase my dreams and I need to take my holiday back. Well, sir, you need to chase your dreams and take your life back. Your father's not in control of you anymore. Right? So he starts pushing Chris to recognize what he really wants out of life too. Well, dun dun dun. There's a third act breakup, which I don't care for. But it makes sense, I guess, in this book. It makes sense because during the whole book and during their relationship, Locke is beating himself up because he's the one who's stealing the magic. And he did it just so he'd have a little bit of magic to use to fix his holiday, to make it happen. He's doing everything with no magic, and any little magic he does he does use, his uncle like comes down on him like hard. He is such a horrible, abusive person. And so he's like, okay, I'm I just needed some magic and I didn't think Christmas would miss it. And I was going to pay it all back. I'll pay it all back. But Chris is like, oh my God. Basically, he's like, I've lost the plot line. I was supposed to come here and solve this for my family, for my brother, for my holiday. And instead, I fell for the guy who's stealing the magic. And he's just like, starts beating himself to hell about it. And he goes back to Christmas land. And it's not called Christmas land, but that's what I'm calling it. He goes back there and he's like, I'm not talking to you anymore, Locke. And he basically goes into little brother hissy fit mode. Okay, look, no, his heart's broken, but I wanted to slap him. Straight through the book, I wanted to slap him. He starts kind of having a mental breakdown and throwing a fit about how he doesn't even want to do this. And he's always doing what other people want him to do. And, he's just like going off about how he wants to be a writer, but he can't because everyone's depending on him. And he starts having this mental breakdown. And finally, his family, his brother and his best friends are like, shut the fuck up, Chris. You're the only one putting these limitations on yourself. We have been nothing but supportive of you. And if you ever once even said, this is what I want to do, we would have totally supported you. But you didn't. You kept your mouth closed. You put yourself in a box, sir. Like, yeah, you did this. Don't blame us. It's insulting. It's insulting that you don't think we would support you. It's insulting that you think we would want you to give your whole life to something you don't even care about. It's insulting. So put your big boy pants on and decide what you want to do in your life and then go for it. I have to go back and say that their plan worked. The plan that Chris and Lachlan came up with for him to take his holiday back actually works. And they do manage, or Lachlan manages to take his holiday back from his uncle. And so he's the ruler of it now. And the magic is restored. And he pays Christmas the magic back that he took, which really wasn't a lot, but he pays it back in full. And Chris knows all this, but he still won't reach out. And he still won't reach out. He's too busy being in his feels and having his little hissy fit. And I wanted to smack him and say, please quit whining, sir. Please stop whining. Please stop whining. He really got to me. And I deducted a star for his whining. Just to let you know now. Chris finally decides, okay, I'm going to do what I want to do. And he stops going to school because he didn't want to go anyway. And he's writing a book now. So he ends being very happy with himself and being like, I'm finally doing what I want to do and taking back my life. And he had to go about it the most dramatic way possible. But he is, finally embracing who he wants to be. And of course, Locke ends up making an appearance and making amends and apologizing, and they end up reconciling, and all's well that ends well. I have to say my final words here. Locke is fucking hot. Okay? I wanted to smack Chris because Locke is hot, and you know what a good person he is, and you know what he's been up against. You couldn't have you were so busy being self-deprecating and beating yourself up and going through your shame spiral. You didn't want to stop and think for a second about the logistics and the circumstances, and, you just wanted to beat yourself up. So, whatever. Locke forgives him, of course, and he forgives Locke, and they end up together. And Locke's a painter, and Chris is a poet. He tries to find a way to turn literally every conversation into a poem. He talks a lot. And he's so sappy. And he would not be the dude for me, but I really liked Locke. And Locke, he's got words. Okay? He has got words. When they're having their intimate moments, Locke, He is a talking daddy, man. It is hot. He is just like, whew, during those spicy moments. But Chris is just exhausting. Everything's turned into poetry. He waxes on about everything. Locke loves it though, because he's got a poetic soul. He's a painter. I mean, there's someone for everyone, and they're really cute together. One hilarious thing though, Chris cannot drink. He can't drink for nothing. And it seems like every event St. Patrick's Day has whiskey involved, because of course it does. And he can't drink, dude. He gets so tipsy and he says the silliest stuff and he's stumbling around and he's got a hangover half of his time at St. Patrick's Day. He's got a hangover and Locke is like force feeding him water constantly. Like, you need your water, dude. And it is just, there is so much comedy in this book. You got to pick it up. It's St. Patrick's Day. It's beautiful. Read it. There's a literal St. Patrick's prince in this. My two main questions I have are all the holidays queer? Because both princes of Christmas, the prince of Halloween, the prince of St. Patrick's Day, and she doesn't have her own book yet. I assume she probably will, but the princess of Easter is bi. So, like, everyone in this book is bi or just queer. Bi or gay. I'm not throwing shade. I'm just making a note. Also, why are all the reigning kings assholes? Because the king of Christmas was an asshole in the first book, and now the reigning king of St. Patrick's Day is an asshole. And yeah. Just two thoughts I'm curious about. For my rating, I'm rating this a solid 4. I deducted a star because Chris is annoying, but the book itself is so good and it's so fun. And it's not as good as the first book. The first book in the series, the Nightmare Before Christmas, was a raging 5. I loved that book. It was so much fun. This one is still a lot of fun. There's still a lot of humor in it, but Chris killed it a little for me. I actually really liked Chris in the first book. But he lost sexy points in this book big time. But Locke gained him back. So we're just going to even it out at a 4 instead of dropping it any lower than that. The spice level, I'm landing at a 3. I'm landing at a 3, 3.5 at the most. There's not a lot of like kink or anything going on. But Locke has got words and it's, whew, I love Locke. I've got a lot of quotes for this one because, like I said, I liked Locke quite a bit. And there were some good quotes. So this first one's actually a Chris quote. Because like I said, he loves to talk. So he was all up in this book talking. This one's so funny. Is when he first got to St. Patrick's and he got wasted at dinner. It was so funny. And this is an inner dialogue. Fucking hell, why is their food so good? They're the enemy. They should taste like dirt. But I'm making a mental note to ask Renee to incorporate more Irish fare into our meals, and I hate Gypsy me for being such a food whore. It's super relatable. I am also a food whore. Okay, look, Chris isn't all bad. He just annoyed me so much by the end of it that I deducted a star. But, you know, he is funny and he is cute and he is poetic and he has got a good way with words. He just went too far towards the end with all his whining. And it soured me on him a bit. But that quote made me remember why I loved him in the beginning. So there you go. That's why I included it. Okay, this is another Chris quote when he walked into the library at St. Patrick's, because of course, you know, Ireland, Trinity College, and this isn't Trinity College, but it is a big library and it's supposedly beautiful. Like the way it's like you could see the skylight and it's just apparently just gorgeous, huge library. And Chris is a lover of the written word. He is a lover of books and a library is where his heart is. And so this is how he felt. This is what he said. This is how I felt when I stepped into Cambridge's library my first year and had an entirely different major lined up alongside a naive resolve to do something for me. Wonder. That's the feeling. Like all these books hold possibilities, and if I pick the right one, I'll get swept away somewhere better and righter and truer. As a reader, don't we all feel that way when we walk into a big, beautiful library? I know I do. I just walk in and it's wonder. It's all these stories, all these words. It's a beautiful library is a beautiful thing. And I think Chris summed it up. This is Locke because he's hilarious. I'm Irish, boyo, talking shite is how we flirt. Ain't that the truth? I loved it. And Locke does talk a lot of shit. He is so funny. This is when he starts going off about his holiday, and he's very passionate about it. So Locke says, no one takes my holiday serious. We're the holiday for drinking and partying and green fucking beer. My father believed that, and his father, and half our court. They do not take themselves seriously. What hope have we ever had to be something? I wanted to hug him. That broke my heart. This book will give you a whole nother appreciation of St. Patrick's Day because it is known for green beer and drinking and being crazy. But he put so much into it and so much of his culture. And this next quote goes more into what St. Patrick's Day means to him. And I had to include it because this is St. Patrick's Day. Locke. It's a celebration of our people, a celebration of their survival in the face of political and religious instability, in the face of starvation and oppression and the fucking English's attempts at genocide. It's everyone from Queen Maeve to Grace O'Malley to Mary Robinson. It has not always been that, I know, and there are problematic parts to be sure. I mentioned earlier the luck of the Irish. The phrase itself came from racist pricks who thought Irish success could only be because of luck rather than any skill. But even that's not fair. We do have luck. In our folklore and pantheons, we are built on luck long before arseholes bastardized it. St. Patrick's Day has become the one thing we agree on, even when we're divided, even when we're scattered across the globe. So we embrace the bad with the good because you would not only see someone as the shite they have overcome, but as the fact that they did overcome it at all. My holiday is a uniting thread of who we are and what we are capable of. Preach. Preach, Lachlan. Preach. I'm going to end there because that's a beautiful quote. That wraps up what St. Patrick's Day should be. And it's a celebration of Irish culture, and it's a celebration of Ireland and its people, and it's can be beautiful. It's not just a day for drinking. Of course, if you wanna, no shame. But this book really kind of reframes it in such a beautiful way. And yeah, I fell for Lachlan a little bit. So funny. In the first book, I fell for Hex. In this book, I fell for Lachlan. The poor princes of Christmas are doing nothing for me. But their lovers, on the other hand. Okay. And let's move on to casting. For Lachlan, I had to pick an Irish boy. Of course, my mind went to Ed Sheeran. But that doesn't quite fit, right? Ed Sheeran. But he's described as a ginger Chris Evans from Knives Out. I mean, how specific, right? So I had to have red hair. I had to have a ginger. I had to have an Irish ginger. So who did I go for? I went for Donald Gleason. Bill Wesley with Harry Potter. And he was also in an episode of Black Mirror, and he was in About Time. And he also made an appearance in Taylor Swift's Opalite video. He is perfect. He's handsome. He's a ginger. He's Irish. He's got the accent down. He can be super earnest. He could be a painter. He's got that poetic artist look. So it wrote itself. And okay, look, I did Chris a solid here. In fact, if I were to watch this movie, which I would, because it would be hilarious and sweet and give you the feels, but at the same time make you giggle and it's hot. I think they should make a movie out of the first book and this one. I think it would be a fun series. Ooh, they could even do a television. I mean, they did it for Heated Rivalry. They can do a television show out of it. But I did him a solid because if I were to watch it and this actor played Chris, I feel like I would be more understanding of his whiny ways because this guy's so hot, okay? Okay, I'm going with Avon Jogia. That's who I'm going with. He was in Twisted. He was in Zombieland Double Tap. He looks really hot with long hair. He's got that look of being some sort of tortured poet. He's a beautiful, beautiful man. And he could pull the top bun, man bun situation that Chris loves to do. So, I would be more understanding if Avon Jogia was playing Chris because, I mean, he's just so handsome and pretty to look at. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe Chris is just so beautiful to look at, and Lachlan already has a poetic soul that it just kind of flows together, and he's willing to forgive him for being such a whiny. On that note, I'm going to end here, and you tell me what you think about a whiny man. Is it easier to forgive it if he's handsome? It's pretty to look. I think a lot of things are easier to believe or forgive if he's pretty to look at. Whatever. Anyway, holler at me and tell me what you think. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at Book Tease Pod, and each episode is also available on YouTube at Book Tease Pod. Theme music is by The Scraps, and until next time, stay spicy.
Baby.